Welcome to the Curious Culture Club, where we explore the intriguing and the bizarre. Today, we delve into a chilling tale from 1993 in the small town of West Memphis, Arkansas. The tranquility of this tight-knit community was shattered when an unspeakable tragedy unfolded. Three young boys, full of life and innocence, were brutally murdered, their bodies found in a ditch, sparking a wave of horror that swept across the nation. These children were not just victims. They were sons, friends, and students with dreams and potential that were cruelly snuffed out. The shocking nature of the crime sent shivers down the spines of all who heard about it, and the desperate search for justice began. Little did anyone know, this horrifying event would spiral into a complex web of mystery and controversy. This ghastly crime would soon become a national obsession, leading to one of the most controversial trials in American history. Enter the West Memphis Three local teenagers, Damian Eccles, Jason Baldwin, and Jesse Miskelly Jr., suddenly thrust into the spotlight. These young men, hailing from the same community as the victims, were far from the typical suspects. Eccles, the eldest, was known for his interest in the occult, while Baldwin and Miskelly were just ordinary teenagers, caught up in a whirlwind of accusations and suspicion. The initial investigation was riddled with controversies. The police, under immense pressure to solve the crime, quickly zeroed in on the trio. The media too played a pivotal role, painting them as devil-worshipping misfits. This narrative, coupled with Miskelly's questionable confession despite his low IQ and lack of legal representation, formed the crux of the prosecution's case. However, the evidence was far from conclusive. There were no eyewitnesses, no DNA matches, and no tangible link between the accused and the murders. The crime scene, a woodland area, was disturbed and key evidence mishandled or lost. And yet, the prosecution's narrative of a satanic ritual persisted, fueled by the media frenzy and the community's need for justice. But as the case unfolded, doubts began to surface, casting a shadow of uncertainty over the whole investigation. The lack of physical evidence, the questionable investigative techniques, and the coercion allegations all pointed to a different story. One that suggested the West Memphis Three were perhaps victims themselves of a flawed system and a rush to judgment. The trial of the West Memphis Three was a spectacle that gripped the nation, but it was not without its controversies. The prosecution presented a case built on circumstantial evidence, often relying on the shock value of the crime rather than solid, undeniable proof. The defense, on the other hand, argued that the police had tunnel vision, focusing only on Eccles, Baldwin, and Miskelly from the outset. The trial was riddled with allegations of misconduct. Critics argued that the police had coerced confessions out of the accused, especially from Jesse Miskelly Jr., who had a low IQ and was interrogated without a guardian or lawyer present. The lack of physical evidence tying the defendants to the crime scene was another point of contention. Could such a brutal crime leave no trace of its perpetrators? Experts familiar with the case raised questions about the validity of the convictions. Forensic pathologists disagreed with the prosecution's theory of the cause of death. Legal analysts pointed out inconsistencies in the testimony of the witnesses. The trial ended with the conviction of the West Memphis Three, but the story didn't end there. Doubts and controversies kept simmering, fueling a growing movement of people who believed in their innocence. As the years rolled on, the cries for justice grew louder, culminating in a shocking twist that would turn the case on its head. In 2011, after years of incarceration, an unexpected twist stunned all. The West Memphis Three were released. Their freedom came not due to a clear-cut exoneration, but through an unusual legal maneuver known as an Alford plea. Essentially, they maintained their innocence while acknowledging that the state had enough evidence to convict them. This strategic move allowed them to walk free, but with the stain of guilt still technically upon them. Their release, however, was a result of more than just clever legal tactics. It was the product of tireless advocacy, public support, and the relentless pursuit of truth by those who questioned the fairness of their trial. The case of the West Memphis Three had exposed deep flaws in the criminal justice system, sparking debates about fair trials, the presumption of innocence, and the potential for wrongful convictions. In the end, the story of the West Memphis Three serves as a chilling reminder of the pursuit of justice, the presumption of innocence, and the power of truth.